Hey neighbors, I've had a lot of questions around my chicken roost. Today I wanted to give you kind of a detailed look on how I built this and how you might be able to build one too. It's gonna be a real quick video. There's not a whole lot to it, so let's get right into it. All right, so here's the chicken roost right behind me. It's just a really simple design. I made it entirely out of 2x3s. Honestly, if I were to do it again, I would probably go with 2x4s. So just kind of keep that in mind. The 2x3s work really well and they're nice and small and light. But when the chickens put their feet on them, their toes just barely hang over, and that's not something that I want. I want their toes to be completely on that wood. Now what I did is the 2x3s that I bought are 8 feet long, and so I took 2 for the outsides here, and I kept them just the normal 8 feet long. All the ones that are, all the little rungs that are going horizontally, I took those and I cut those ones in half, so it is more or less 8 feet tall by 4 feet wide. It's not exact, but roughly that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now what I did is I took the 2 vertical 2x3s and I set them right up against the wall diagonally, and I just put them there diagonally so that way I could kind of get an idea of what kind of pitch I wanted it at and how far out of the wall that's going to be going. The next thing I did is I took all the other 2x3s and I cut them in half. Now I think the biggest key to this is putting your vertical sides up first, and the reason for that is if you put your vertical sides up against the wall, you see what pitch you're going to be at, you'll be able to put your middle rungs in at an angle that's going to keep the birds flat. That might sound a little weird. I'm going to add some B-roll here to kind of show it a little bit better, but if you were to just lay this whole thing down on the ground and build it that way, you're not going to get a good idea of what is going to be flat for your bird. You want to make sure it's at the right pitch. That way when you go to screw in your horizontal bars, you can adjust them to where they are sitting completely flat for the birds, not compared to the actual sides themselves. And then all we did was we took 2 screws from each side on each pole and screwed them in from the sides. Super easy, not very difficult at all. And that holds really well. When we built these at 18 inches apart. So each one of these crossbars that they're actually standing on are 18 inches apart. And what that does, it helps the birds spread out a little bit, makes it so they're not, pooping on each other or just making sure they're not so squished together. And realistically, this is something you can kind of change depending on what your coop looks like. My coop is a big lifetime shed. I had a lot of room for a nice chicken roost. So I was able to make this really, really big. If you don't have as much room, you can really do the same thing here, just downscale it a little bit. I still not actually connected this to the wall of the coop. So let's get in there and show you how I have it all connected. All right, so to attach this thing, all I do is I pick it up, I bring it inside the coop here, and I stand it up back at the place that I built it. All right, so it leans up against the top up here. And this is what I meant by put it where you're gonna build it, so that way you know the pitch. I have this board over here, and I have this board over here, and I set them up diagonally when I built this. And then I came in with the actual roosting bars, and I set them up, and I had to figure out what was gonna be flat for the birds. It's not perfect, but it's close. Because if you were to lay this on the ground and try to build it flat, it's gonna be really hard to figure out what's gonna be flat for your birds. It's not connected at all up there, but I do have little cinder blocks here, and that holds it from falling down at all. And it's actually, it doesn't go anywhere. There you have it. It's not perfect, but it works for us. Here in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna be cleaning out that chicken coop and just showing you what I do to compost the manure to be able to use it in the garden next year. And if for any reason this chicken roost just won't work for the type of coop that you have, then go watch this video right here where I go through my top tips of the roost do's and the roost don'ts, and you'll get kind of a better idea on how to build your roost. This works great for me, but it's not for everybody. Go watch that video and I'll see you there.